Hi, Antonio. So basically what you're saying is that we must take Russian bank denials that there are problems with liquidity with a pinch of salt.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, Russian banks right now will have a very hard time to raise funds, of course. They are not able to raise the bonds and issue equity, but at the same time, even if they are allowed to obtain loans from syndicated lending, it's very unlikely that any international lender will agree to lend them money at all.
What about, let's start with the Russian banks and the business they do within Russia, the lending to other banks and the lending to consumers. How quickly could that dry up?
It will. I mean, it will not have an immediate liquidity impact, maybe within the next weeks or months. But in the medium term, of course, Russian banks will have difficulties to obtain affordable funding. Funding costs will rise because they will only have to come to domestic wholesale markets for funding, and these are becoming increasingly tight because of the capital outflows. So that will result in more costly loans and also more difficult credit conditions for households and Russian corporations.
So where does this go then? Does this go to, I mean, if it carries on like this, we are talking definite recession, right?
We're talking that definitely that will play a significant impact on the Russian economy, which it was relying on credit expansion to a great extent in the last few years. And with a credit condition now squeezing, is definitely that will weigh on GDP growth and is probably, I mean, although it's not certain that the economy could enter in recession maybe this year.
And certainly weak profitability in the banking sector, which would make banks as an investment extremely unattractive, right?
Yes, for the reason mentioned before, the rising cost for them that will comprise the financial margins, but also because of the potentially increasing delinquency rates and impairment of the loan portfolio. And yes, that will probably make the Russian banks increasingly unattractive from the viewpoint on return on equity or return on assets.
Well, let's talk about some of the banks outside of Russia, some of the Austrian banks, for example, that lend money to Russian banks. Will they stop lending? Do they have to stop lending?
In theory, the European Union allows any international bank and any European Union bank to lend money to Russian counterparties. But given all the market sentiment and these adverse conditions and the uncertainty, it's very unlikely that any European bank will even attempt to lend money. It's very possible that all the refinancing operations, all the rolling over of maturing debt will be stopped. And there was a pending issues, I think, pending operations, I think, by Barclays leading a syndicated lending to BTB.
Yep.
And this operation is very, I mean, probably will be postponed or even cancelled.